songs, we're going to be breaking down the first solo to Hotel California. I think there's a lot of really great techniques and a lot of great concepts in these solos, and so even though you might not be a fan of the song, and maybe you are, it's a great solo to look at. So what we're going to do is let's just start off by talking about the chords and talk about some of the, I wouldn't call them problem spots, but the highlights, if you will, that we'll see when we look at this solo. So we're going to be soloing over this. We're going to be soloing over B minor, which then goes to F sharp major. That's something we want to talk about. Then we're going to go to A major, and then E major, which we're also going to talk about. And then G, D, and then E minor this time, and then back to F sharp major. All right. So this song is actually, for the most part, in the key of B minor, which means our chords should be B minor, E minor, and F sharp minor. We don't play F sharp minor, we play F sharp major. So there's a bunch of theory we could get into as to why this happens, but I want you to understand, to be watching out for that when we go to do this first solo. The other thing is that we've got that A that goes to an E major. Well, it should be an E minor in the key of B minor, but it's not. It's an E major the first time around. So again, we're going to acknowledge that in the solo, and that's why I wanted you to see these chords, so when we get there, you can actually see kind of what we're talking about. So let's break this down a little bit. Head over and get some distortion here. So our solo is going to start off doing... that's going to be our first lick. So we're in B minor. So if you thought about it, right here we could be doing B minor pentatonic. And we've got B natural minor. Okay? So we're kind of blending from those two things. When we first do this lick here, we're really just doing pentatonic in what we could call the second position. Now what's really cool about that is we're playing this 11, 10, and this 12, and then what we're doing is we're taking that 12 and we're bending it up 3 frets. So it's becoming the sound of the 15th fret, which is a D. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back and play 10, 12, and go back to the 9. And all this is happening over this B minor chord. Okay, then we're going to go... So right there we're going to play 7, 9, 7, back to the original 7, which is all pentatonic. But then we get to this note right here, which is the 8th fret of the 4th string. Now that note didn't fit pentatonic or diatonic, and what's happening there is that note in particular is accommodating the F sharp major versus the F sharp minor that we would normally expect to get. We're not getting that, we're getting major. So right here, if we look at that, we're playing this note right here, which is B flat. Well, if we come up here, right there, that's what we're playing. We're playing B flat. So Don Felder is accommodating that odd chord by going to that note. And then he goes, and he does, now you could do this, again, there's lots of different places you can play these things, so if you play them in different positions, or, you know, maybe you just play the notes differently or something, it's perfectly fine. I'm just showing you how I play this. So right there what I'm doing is I'm playing 9, 11, 9 on the 4th string, going back to 7. And then you're going to bend it up that half step. So again, we're bending it to that major 3rd, that B flat of that chord. So now we have... And then we have this lick going to that note, and then... Okay, then we go to an A chord, and we're going to go straight into... Now, the first time we do this... We're playing this note right here. We're playing that harmonic minor note, if you will, if you know what harmonic minor is. And if you don't, it's okay. Again, just think of it as that note right there. And the second time, we skip over that and we play normal pentatonic. So we have... Okay, then we're going to head up here. Now we're going to this E chord. And remember, we're supposed to get E minor, but we're getting E major. So when we play this lick, that's the note we want to talk about. So we're coming up to the 10th fret here of the second string. We're going to bend that up a whole step. We're going to play the 10 underneath. Bend it, or release that, sorry. And then down to the 7, back to the 10, but then we're going to go to this 8, and we're going to bend it up a half step. Okay, so it looks like this. Right there. So again, if we were playing diatonic, we'd want the 8th fret right there. Well, we're bending it up to the 9th fret. Why? Because this note matches the E major, which is what we're playing. We're not playing E minor, we're playing E major. So he's bending that up to accommodate that note. Sounds great. All right, so again, from a soloing perspective, just think of each phrase. We have our first phrase, and then the next thing, with that little tag. Okay, and then the next thing. And then that leads to the next one. Okay, and then that leads to the G. So we're here, we're going 7, 7. We're bending the first string 10th fret, bringing it back down. I do a reverse bend there. Back to the 7, and then we've got this bend again. But this time we're just going to the 8 like normal, because we're over that G. Then we go to our D. Okay, so over that, we're going to the 3rd string, 9th fret. We're going to bend that up. We're going to connect to the 10th fret of the 1st string, so we're string skipping there. Again, a reverse bend. And then I've always gone to the 9th fret of the 5th string. I've seen it written where there's no note there, and that's fine. You wouldn't have to play anything. I think it sounds nice going to the 9th fret, but... And then we have that little slide from 7 to 6 to 7, and you might do a pull-off, you know, hammer on, something like that. It's perfectly fine. And then we end with the... So right there, it's on a normal E minor this time, and we're just bending that up a half step, which is becoming the minor third that we normally would expect. And then it goes to F sharp major again, and this time we're just staying pentatonic. Okay, and what we're doing there is this bend on the 9th fret of the 3rd string, which if you think about it, I'm bending up to the 11th fret, which this note is F sharp. So we're bending to the root of that. So I'm doing a traditional kind of Chuck Berry-ish thing here, playing 9, 7, 10, and then 9, 7, 7, and then doing a basic bend where I go up, come back down, do a pull off to the 7, and then I'm bending it and leaving it at the end. Okay, so those are all the licks for the first section of this solo. Definitely worth taking a look at, and not just from a technique perspective, but from a composition perspective. I just think it's great how, with a song like that, using chords that don't always fit what we call diatonically for the betterment of the song, just a more creative sound. but then when they go to solo over the top, they've got to take some of that into consideration. Not always, but it certainly sounds cool when they do. So anyway, take care, stay positive, keep practicing, and make sure that you check out guitarzoom.com. We have an all-access membership that I'd love for you to check out.